right? Which is 90% of the time, or they're just wicked, right? Or they just plain, they know it and they're just wicked, right? And there's a lot of our people, right, that are that run super churches, right? Like TD Jakes, Creflo Dollar, right? And all they're about is money. All they're about is money. That's the reason why they're keeping that thing going, right? Because they're people, because the people are coming to the church, right? They're giving money, right? But they're struggling to come to church, but you're coming in a Bentley.
I agree with this.
You're flying in jets.
100%.
Right? That's a lot of super churches, in all honesty. That's a lot of super churches, right? Because some of our people are filling out Joel Osteen's church, right? And they're the ones with the majority mega churches, in all honesty, right? They're the ones with the majority of mega churches, and our people are giving money into them. But let me tell you something, right? Tithes alone, right? Money is not tithes on its own, right? We could give money as tithes, but that's not what it was, right? That's not what it was. Because what we would do is we give tithes, right, to the Levites, right, and we give 10% of what we had. Right, and that would keep them going because their job was to do the stuff in the temple. Right, that was what their job was. Right, so that they could do things, right, that was their pay. Right, but these people that are running these churches, right, they're not Levites, so why are they getting that?
I agree.
Why are they getting that?
Multi-millionaires.
You need to ask yourself, they don't know that, and that's why I'm saying it's all about money to them.
Yep.
It's all about money to them, right? And we've seen time and time again. Why do you think they pass the plate around about 5 times in some of the church services? They pass the plate around and they get everybody to jump and clap around and to give them that sense of euphoria. So everyone's getting happy, and when they do that, it makes them want to give money. It makes them want to give money, so they're passing it around, passing the plate around, and people are throwing money in there. Right, throwing money in there.
Do you think it's okay when it's a small church and they need it to just keep the church running? I know what you're on about though with the massive ones in America. Do you think a smaller church is all right?
There's no such thing as a small church.
I mean, like, you know, like a little communion, not the big massive ones in America and that.
There's no such thing as a small church. The only church on the earth is the nation of Israel, the Israelites. That's the only church on earth.
Yeah.
The Israelites. But anyway, we fled into Africa, right? And then what happened when we were in Africa, right? We fled deeper into Africa because the Romans were chasing us. So we fled to the northwest coast of Africa, where you got Ghana, you got Nigeria, you got Benin, you got the Ivory Coast, you got all those. 90% of those people are Israelites.
Didn't know that.
Go and look it up. You can go and look it up when you go home. Go on the internet, go on YouTube, type in Igbo. The Igbos know who they are.
Oh, so Igbos are Jewish?
Not Jewish, they are Israelites.
Israelite, yeah, okay.
You see, and that's the thing, because the white man today, who calls himself Jewish, right? He doesn't understand the writings. The writings are, there are 12 tribes. One of the tribes is called Judah. That's where the term Jew comes from.
Got ya.
So all 12 tribes are Israelites, but not all 12 tribes are Jews.
I get ya. Yeah.
There's a tribe called Ephraim, they're Ephraimites. There's a tribe called Naphtali, right? There's a tribe called Zebulun. There's a tribe called Asher, right? There's a tribe called Benjamin, right? So not all Israelites are Jews.
Yeah.
Right? So, and they don't understand that. They don't understand one thing about the book. All they've done is appropriated. Because what happened with them people, they adopted a religion called Judaism, which is not. We don't have a religion.
Yeah.
Israelites don't have a religion. We have laws, statutes, and commandments.
Like a peoples with, yeah.
We have a constitution. Where's your Bible? We have a constitution. This is our constitution. In the constitution, it tells us. This is Bible.
Yeah.
It gives us laws, statutes, and commandments. This is our constitution.
Yeah.
Right? So the Creator tells us how to treat one another, how to what you can do, what you can't do, right? How you got to treat animals, how you got to treat the trees, how you got to treat the land, what you can, what you can't eat.
Yeah.
That's
a life guide in a sense.
That's what it's instruction. It's called
A
Torah.
manual.
It's called Torah,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it's to govern a nation of people. It's not a religion.
Yeah.
Right? And all these Western countries, all these other nations took this writing and turned it into a religion. That's why you have Christianity on the earth, which is a religion. It has nothing to do with
Well,
the
that was
God.
first in Abrahamic religions, wasn't it? Was the
Abraham did not have a religion.
well, yeah.
Abraham didn't have a religion. The Most High gave him laws to follow, gave him instructions to do, and he did them. That's all that the Most High gave him. He didn't say, oh, believe in me in this way. He says, don't worship what is inanimate, because I am a living God. I am a living God. You can't worship something which is less than you.
Yeah.
How are you going to make something and then worship it? How are you going to worship something that you can take and mold it into something else? Yeah, so the Most High says, don't make any image of me, because you don't know what I look like. You cannot put me in no physical thing that could show my glory. So don't do it. Yeah, so it's not religion. It's instruction from the God who made us.
I get you.
Who made us. And when it comes to the children of Israel, this writing, right, is the writings, right? Oh, you want to?
Yeah, I've got a YouTube channel, but I'm learning a lot from you two. I like it. It's
right,
good.
that's good. Yeah, and
Good.
You need to learn, because at the end of the day, right, what's going to happen on this earth, right, is because of what they've done to the children of Israel with the real Israelites, which took us into captivity, right? So from the west coast of Africa, they came. The Arabs came, and they took us to the east, right, which is called the sub-Saharan slave trade, right? And then they were doing such a good job of it, so they got the Europeans involved. Right? And the Europeans came to the northwest coast of Africa after they raped, robbed, and murdered, right, the Israelites who were in the Americas, right? Because they don't want to teach you that the Native American Indians, they call them Indians, they weren't Indians. They don't want to tell you they were Israelites.
Oh, well, all right.
They don't want to tell you that.
Oh, yeah.
They don't want to get me that in Israel.
It's interesting that is. I like that.
Yeah, they were Israelites, because remember you had the northern and the southern kingdom, right? And when Assyria took the northern kingdom out, right, 90% of the northern kingdom didn't return back to the land. They went to a country that they knew, but there was no
Not going to get
civilization.
persecuted and stuff. They're going to be alright to live there.
Where there was nobody there, where there's no
yeah.
civilization there, so that they could build their own communities and try to keep the commandments, right, to the best of their ability. So they went to the Americas, and when you go into the history, into the Native Americans, they had Hebrew writing. They had the oldest what do you call it again? Archaeology, right? The oldest archaeology, right, found in the world today is called the Lost Lunar Stone. And on the Lost Lunar Stone is Hebrew writing.
I'll check that out online.
Yeah, go and check it out. Right? So they were Israelites. They knew who they were as well. Go. You need to get a book called what's it called? The Lost Tribes and Promised Land.
Yeah, Lost Tribes and Promised Lands. Yeah, where it talks about the 10 tribes.
The Lost Tribes and Promised Lands. Go and read it.
I will, yeah. I'll go back
because
over the footage. I'll go back and look at everything you told me to go and look
This is
at.
historians from the 1700s that travelled to the Americas.
Yeah.
And they said when they went there, right, they were speaking Hebrew, and they knew they were from the tribe of Naphtali. They knew they were from the tribe of Joseph, right? They knew.
That's interesting, yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
So when Columbus never set a foot on American soil. I bet he didn't know that.
Yeah, he ended up in Mexico in the soil, didn't he? Sat to them, didn't even
Mexico
go. All
the
alive,
Americas.
you reckon?
Mexico is the Americas, right? He never stepped a foot in the Americas. He landed on the islands.
Yeah.
He never stepped a foot. The conquistadors that went over to the Americas, and when they went over there with a mandate from the Pope saying that when they meet anybody out there, right, that you must put them into servitude. into servitude and into slavery, right? And that's what they did. They went over there, raped, robbed, pillaged. The Native Americans, right, welcomed them and showed them how to live on the land, showed them how to live off the land, right? Showed them how to, make a life. And how did they repay them? With rape, robbery, and murder, and genocide. Same with Columbus. When he landed on the islands, that's what he commenced to do: rape, rob, murder, and to commit genocide.
Well, 90% were wiped out, wasn't they?
But the world today want me to believe that he was some hero, that he founded a land.
No.
How can you find something what somebody else has found?
Somebody was already there.
Yeah. People were already there, and also they reckon that one of the Vikings got there way before Columbus did as well, up into Canada.
And that's speculation. There's no proof of that.
Yeah.
They got no proof of that.
Yeah,
but we got definite proof who was actually there. We got proof. But when people say, well, the Vikings got there, where's the proof? There is none. It's just words.
Yeah.
It's just words.
Well, history is very manipulated, isn't it?
Where's the artifacts?
Yeah, because they've got artifacts of Vikings in Europe,
right?
But they haven't got no artifacts in the Americas.
That makes sense.
But if we go to the Americas, right? If you go to where Machu Picchu and all those different places are, you'll find Hebrew writings there, and you'll find Hebrew stuff there, and whatever, and you'll see like statues with Negroid features, like statues with Negroid features, and that's because our people was down there.
How do you reckon they got there originally, though? Just whisked it on boat.
Read. It's going to tell you how they got there. It's written in the history.
So this is 2nd Ezra, chapter 13, and verse 38, and he says, "And shall lay before them," I'll read from verse 37 actually. "And this my son shall rebuke the wicked inventions of those nations, which for their wicked life are fallen into the tempest, and shall lay before them their evil thoughts and torments, wherewith they shall begin to be tormented, which are like unto a flame, and he shall destroy them without labour by the law, which is like unto me. And whereas thou sawest that he gathered another peaceable multitude unto him, those are the 10 tribes which were carried away prisoners out of their own land in the time of Osei the king, whom Shalmaneser, the king of Assyria, led away captive,
right.
And he carried them over the waters, and so they came into another land, because they took this counsel among themselves that they would leave the multitude of the heathen, right, and go forth into a further country, right, where never mankind dwelt."
Read on.
Where never mankind dwelt, that they might there keep their statutes, which they never kept in their own land.
Read.
And they entered into the Euphrates.
Right.
By the narrow places of the river.
Right. So they made boats. Right. They got into the Euphrates, and it brought them out into the what's the sea called now? So
it would have been. Do you reckon they would have went across the Atlantic or the other way?
No, they came out here. This is where they came out.
Come out the Red Sea.
They came out here. This is Euphrates.
Yeah.
Right, round Euphrates is around here.
Yeah.
Right, and they went into Euphrates, and then they came out here, and they went here all the way around the Africa, the Horn of Africa, and went over to the Americas. Right, and it takes a year and a half, right?
Oh yeah, I can imagine.
It takes a year and a half, and Solomon's boats, right? I don't know if you've ever heard of Hiram Abiff, right? Hiram Abiff, right? Don't worry about it. But Hiram Abiff, he was a Canaanite, and him and Solomon had a pact together to so that they would do business together. Yeah. And he made them boats. He made the Israelites boats, and Solomon would send fleets to the Americas, because there's certain things that are in the land of Israel which are only
that were taken from Americans, and
which are only indigenous in the Americas.
Okay.
Like corn. Corn is indigenous to Israel, to the land of Israel. But when you go there, you can find corn, right? You got peacocks. Peacocks isn't indigenous to the land of Israel. Yeah. They were only indigenous to the.
Well, they can scientifically prove all that as well, can't they? Now,
right.
Yeah.
But my point is, they were already making trips, and that's in the scriptures. Solomon sending his fleet, and it would take them a year and a half to get there, and a year and a half to come back.
Yeah.
3 years. So when the northern tribes went, they already knew that land existed, and they knew there was nobody there. They knew there was nobody there living there. So they said, let us go to that land and stay there.
Live in peace.
And try to live in peace and keep our commandments and keep the commandments. But the problem with that with them is that you can't keep the commandments, and certain commandments you can't keep unless we're in the land. Because the land of Israel has been chosen by the Creator, and there's a place within that land he has chosen to set his name there, which is called Jerusalem, which in our Hebrew tongue is called Zion, right? And that's where he dwells. And to do certain commandments, you can't do them without going to that place.
Yeah.
Right? So, and that's the reason why they went off, because the Most High wasn't with them, the Creator wasn't with them. And when they kicked us out of the land, right, that's the reason why the nations have power over us, because we're not in our land and we're not keeping our statutes and our customs that the Creator gave us. And when we're not doing that, he won't fight for us. Right? But now, in this time now, right, he's waking us up, because finish reading our Deuteronomy. We had the blessing and the curse, right? The curses are all the things that happen to us from the splitting of the kingdom to this present day, right? We're still in curses, right? But something's going to happen, right? Read.
Deuteronomy 30, reading from verse 1. And it shall come to pass, when all these things are come upon thee, the blessing and the curse which I have set before thee,
right?
And thou shalt call them to mind among all the nations.
And we're going to call them to mind among all the nations. We're going to remember, and when we're in all the nations, right? Read.
Whither the Lord thy God hath driven thee,
right?
And shalt return unto the Lord thy God.
And this is what we're doing. Now we're preaching the gospel, because that's who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. Did not come for everyone. He came for the children of Israel, and he says it from his own mouth. And anybody tells you anything different, they are lying. They are liars, right? Because either Messiah is lying, our Messiah is lying, or they're lying. But from his own mouth, he says he was not sent but unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel. From his own lips, right? But anyway, continue, read.
Whither the Lord thy God hath driven thee, and shalt return unto the Lord thy God.
Which we're doing today, this day. When you go home, look up Hebrew Israelites, right? Read.
And shalt obey his voice according to all that I command thee this day.
Starting to keep the laws, the statutes, commandments, and keep the holy days, just like what was given to us by Moses, right? Read on.
Thou and thy children,
read,
with all thine heart and with all thy soul, that then the Lord thy God will turn thy captivity.
Then he's going to turn our captivity. So when we start keeping what we're supposed to keep, he's going to come for us. And that's why the world is getting ready for World War III.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
That's the reason why it's getting ready. It's geared up for World War III. You got all the major nations stockpiling weapons, all of them, because they know what's coming. They're preparing for war. But what they think is, they're preparing for war so that they can have some dominion on earth. No. The Most High is getting them prepared for war. The Creator is getting them prepared for war. Why? Because we are waking up. The Israelites are waking up. And when we wake up, he says he's going to come and get us. Right? And when he comes to get us, we have to have a place to go to. And not only that, when he gets us, we're going back into ruler position. We're not going to be at the bottom of society anymore. We're going to rule this earth, and we're going to rule it under the guidance of the Creator. And every knee and every knee will bow, every tongue will confess to the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Point blank period. But they don't know it yet. All these people walking around, the sheep, walking around the sheep. A lot of these people walking around are just the walking dead. They're just the walking dead, because when Messiah returns, anybody who doesn't want to serve him, he's going to put them to death. He's going to put them to death, right? Continue reading.
That then the Lord thy God will turn thy captivity and have compassion upon thee,
right?
And will return and gather thee from all the nations.
And will gather us from all the nations. Read on.
Whither the Lord thy God hath scattered thee.
Read.
And if any of thine be driven out unto the outmost parts of heaven,
right? Because we were scattered to the four corners of the earth, and he says, no matter where you've been scattered to, I'm going to come and get you. Right? Read.
Will gather thee, and from thence will he fetch thee.
Right.
And the Lord thy God will bring thee into the land which thy fathers possessed.
And bring us back to the land of Israel. Right? Read.
And thou shalt possess it, and he will do thee good, and multiply thee above thy fathers.
Right.
And the Lord thy God will circumcise thine heart.
And he's going to circumcise our heart. That's a new covenant. Right? The Christian church says that we're in the new covenant already. That's not according to Scripture. That's not according to what the writing says. The writing says, when he comes for us and he collects us, then he's going to circumcise our heart, and he's going to put his laws within us so that we will never forget them. We won't need to go to a book. I won't need to say to him, Do you know what the Bible says, the writing says about this? Because he already knows. We won't be teaching one another. Our job will be to teach the world and the other nations how to serve him. Right? So we're not in the new covenant. We're not in the new covenant. That's another Christian lie. Right? Christianity is of the devil anyway, but read on.
And the heart of thy seed to love the Lord thy God with all thine heart and with all thy soul.
And with all thy heart and with all thy soul, read.
That thou mayest live.
And we're going to live, all right. Read on.
And the Lord thy God will put all these curses upon thine enemies.
And do what?
And the Lord thy God will put all these curses upon thine
No,
enemies.
he's going to love everybody.
And the Lord thy God will put all these curses upon thine enemies.
No, he's coming back with hugs and kisses.
And the Lord thy God will put all these curses upon thine enemies. And on them that hate thee.
And what?
And on them that hate thee.
Because everybody that have laid their hands on the children of Israel, a sore judgment is coming for them. Every single nation. And what we find today, and it's a phenomena, is that when we start talking about these things which are going to come on the other nations, and we're telling the nations, you're going to go into captivity, just like how you put us into captivity, all of you are going to go into captivity, and you're going to have to be punished. And they say, well, it wasn't me that put you into slavery. It wasn't me. I wasn't back then in the days of my forefathers. The problem with that is, I wasn't back there when my forefathers went astray. Yeah. But yet, I'm in the punishment.
Yeah.
I'm being punished for my ancestors' doings. I'm at the bottom of society, right? Last hired, first fired.
The seed forever.
And they're going to be on us for a sign and for a wonder, for a sign. Why is it a sign? Because when you find the people who are living the curses, you will know that they're Israelites, right? So we have lived the curses, we've lived in it, and we're still in the curses, right? That's why it says it will be on you forever, because Messiah is the only one that can break it and stop it. Our Messiah is the only one that can do that, and his time to come back hasn't come yet, because we're a nation or people, right, inside other nations. We're a nation split up and scattered among other nations, right? And at the bottom of those nations as well. And one or two of us might get a lucky, right, and get a bit of money. But as soon as they get their money, they're out of our community. They don't spend that money in our community. They go and start living with their oppressors. They're going to live among the people that oppress their people, right? Right? And a lot of them have to sell themselves. They have to sell their morals. They have to sell their
bodies.
Their bodies. They have to give up who they are to get anywhere.
Yeah.
Right? So one or two of us. But if there's a saying, right? If one of your people is captive, the nation isn't free. Everybody has to be free for the nation to be free. And that's why you see these countries, whenever a nation holds their people, they start to make diplomatic talks to get their people out, because they understand that principle. They understand that principle. So it doesn't matter if one of us get money, like Beyonce or Jay-Z, or whether it be like who else is there, Oprah, or whether it be those type of people. One or two of them get money. That means nothing. It means nothing because 95% of us is still at the bottom, right?
99% of us. Huh?
Yeah, 99% are still at the bottom, right? But that's my point. My point is that we're a nation scattered among other nations at the bottom of those nations, right? We don't put for everything, right? In the want of everything, right?
And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck.
And you can just go when you go home, you just go onto Google and type in yoke of iron. There ain't nobody else is going to pop up apart from our ancestors who had yokes of iron on them. The United States Constitution, it says that my brothers over there are 3/5 of a human, and they haven't changed. Remember, they said they emancipated us, which means freed us, but they didn't free us, because that word emancipation doesn't mean to set someone free. It means to give them liberty within your kingdom, within your jurisdiction. That's what it means, right? And look how many amendments they've made to that constitution, and yet still to this day, that in the constitution is still there. that the Negroes, my brothers and sisters in America, are 3/5 of a human being, but yet still they saying, oh, we're equal. We're equal. And then they said they got rid of slavery. Because I hear this a lot. Oh, we got rid of slavery. No, they didn't get rid of slavery. They just changed it with another thing. They just changed it into another thing. So they
Economical slavery.
Right, and not only that, they set up the prison system.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, I know, I've heard about that. So I know something that was in an American jail. And the way it works is, we've got a quarter of the world's prison population, but the person that was in the American jail, basically, they were doing like wood chopping in America, which was basically equivalent. If you were doing that as a normal job, you're going to be about $30-40 an hour. They're paying them 15 cents an hour while they're in prison, and they've got loads of them working. So the person said to me, that's interesting. I reckon it's a bit of way of getting cheap labour. So that's why they chuck people in prison for simple things like smoking a bit of cannabis and stuff. You know what I mean?
Right. And predominantly, who feels
predominantly the black people.
There's more people in the U.S. prison system this day than there were that were taken over and brought into slavery.
Oh well, I think. So there's a film about this. It's called Kill the Messenger with Jeremy Renner. He's on about the Nicaragua stuff. But basically, part of the film, me and my friend discussed this. We reckon they gave them the crack formula in the hoods in America to keep the people there down. Because the people in the hood who are trying to thrive, they're not chemists, they're not going to come up with that, are they? Had to come from somewhere. Because I know a lot of black people here don't take drugs. More white people take drugs are prone to it than what I gather. But why is it in America, black people there, the hoods are where all the drugs and problems are? Because I reckon it was on purpose done like that.
They did it here as well, but remember, say, we were poor, so how did we get the money to get those drugs down there?
Yeah. What does Shine say, the rapper? N-word don't own no ports or boats, and tell me how we're getting all this coke.
Right. So and that's the point. My point is that they've set up the system, and when we start talking about the crimes that they have done, they come back and their rebuttal is, well, we ended slavery. No, you never. You just changed it into a different system. That's all you did. But the average Negro, because he doesn't know history, right, and he doesn't know what's been done over history, he can't reply to them. But we can, because we are Israelites. We are the days of them pulling the wool over our eyes is over. It's over, because what's coming next, right, is their destruction. What's coming next is their destruction, and our job as Israelites is just to preach the gospel. Well, let's get some more of the curses. Let's finish out. Let's get some more.
Good double team user, I'll give you that.
Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 50. A nation of fierce countenance, right, which shall not regard the person of the old, nor show favour to the young.
Right. No show favour to the young, because that not only did they have our old men and women in the cotton field from sun up to sundown, they had our little toddlers, 2 years old, 3 years old, in the cotton field picking cotton from sun up to sundown, right? And it says people of fierce countenance, they had no pity on our kids. And on the old, have you ever heard of gator bait? No, they get our little toddlers, right, tie a string around them, throw them into the river so alligator can eat them. So alligator could eat them.
Oh yeah, look at that.
Right? And then the alligator eats them, and then they could pull the alligator to the shoreline and club it in the head and get the alligator. That's what they were doing with our children, right? These people had no mercy. They had no mercy, right? They had no compassion, and that's what they're going to get. But for double the time, right? But for double the time, read on.
Do you know one thing I did notice in Miami, I will say, when I went there? My mate's 6'6", right? And he goes, it's the first time he's ever felt like he wasn't the tallest person around, because all of the black men in Miami seem to be, they're all massive. Huge. And I read into this, and they reckon that, I know as sick as this sounds, they reckon they took the big ones and bred them, the dumbest and the biggest, to make the biggest so they could work on the farm to be stronger, which was just vile to read when I read that.
And that was after they abolished slavery.
Yeah,
because they couldn't go to the, travel across the seas to get more people. Because the seas were being policed, right? So that's what they did. They just bred them. That's what they did. But the point is, at the end of the day, it don't matter. It doesn't matter because everything that they've done is going to be rewarded to them. It's going to be paid back, right? And trust me, the world don't know what's coming, man. This world don't know what's coming, man. They're not ready for what's coming, right? But we are because we've gone through our punishment, right? We've drank our cup, right? So when Messiah comes back, he ain't coming back to punish us unless we don't accept him.
Yeah.
But if we accept him and accept the laws, the instructions, then we got a good 99% chance of entering the kingdom, right? Read.
Verse 63, so it's like, verse 64, and the Lord shall scatter thee among all people from one end of the earth even to the other,
Right,
and there thou shalt serve other gods, which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, even wood and stone.
Yeah, break it down.
Yeah. So the Most High scattered us across all the earth, right? And when it says wood and stone, what that's talking about there is talking about the two biggest religions on the earth, right? So the wood is dealing with Christianity, and why is it saying wood? Because people worship the cross, right?
Yeah.
And that's where the wood comes from.
Yeah.
Then he's talking about the stone. He's talking about Islam, because when people walk around that stone in Mecca, that's what they do because they believe that it's gonna take all their sins away when they walk around it, basically, and when they touch it and kiss it, basically. But that is that's idolatry. But he's saying that we're gonna worship other gods, so that's what ended up happening to us. So our people are all up in like Christianity, Islam, and whatever, and that's what we're trying to get our people out of. But that has nothing to do with us, has nothing to do with the Most High, has nothing to do with the Bible. Right? So we don't deal with them things.
Right.
So so verse 68 then.
Yeah.
And it says, and the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships.
With what?
With ships.
Bring us into Egypt again with ships, right? Cargo slave ships. Now,
That's interesting.
Now, as I said, these prophecies, it's like the yoke of iron, right, on your necks. There ain't no nation that's gone into slavery with yoke of iron on their necks, right? And there ain't no nation that has gone into captivity on cargo slave ships apart from my ancestors, right? So those prophecies can only pertain to a certain nation of people on the earth today, right? It can only be applied to a certain people on the earth today, and that's my ancestors and my people that are in the Americas, my people that are in the Brazils, my people that are in the Caribbean islands, my people that are in Mexico,
Argentina, all the
China, Japan, India,
Australia.
Because we are scattered all over the earth. But the thing is, the Most High is going to come for us, and we got no doubt.
So that was the Israelites. I just personally thought, there's been a lot of views out there. We hear a lot about Islam, a lot about Christianity, but I've never really seen that before. So they were quite passionate in their endeavours there. I will put the link to their channel in the description. If you want to go over there and learn a bit more about the Israelites, go and have a little look. But thanks for watching. Something a bit different. Have a lovely day, guys. Like and subscribe. Peace.